This is Philosophy versus Improv, where two sages try to teach each other a thing or two, and maybe you, the audience, get something out of it as well. This is Mark Linsenmeyer. I will be guiding you on your philosophy journey today.
And this is Bill Arnett. I will be leading you on your improv trek. Does that sound good? Okay.
And our guest joining us on the trek/journey, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Katie Caussin, and I will help push this boulder up the hill as it continues the Sisyphean task that we are.
Well, I think we will get it to the top this time.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to throw it out there. I really think we will. I really think.
All right. If you believe, I believe.
Sisyphus just didn't try hard enough. He didn't want it.
That's right.
Just,
I don't recall that actually being the issue with Sisyphus, that he was allowed to put it all the way to the top. It's just it would roll back down. It didn't stay there. That was the issue.
Right.
I mean, it's not he got it halfway up and then like if that would be a different kind of torture. I think he might just stop trying if that was what happened.
Put a little rock in your pocket, and when you get it up to the top, jam that rock underneath.
Right, just to
work smarter, not harder. Sisyphus.
It was just an engineering flaw.
Basic stuff. Basic Newtonian physics.
I feel like we've already started a scene of the consultants advising Sisyphus on how to do a better job.
The game of experts.
Yes. Yes.
But perhaps we'll just let that play out in the listeners' minds. Katie, tell us a little about yourself and how you were related to this, my co-host here.
To this whole world. Yes, I am the co-artistic director of IO Theater in Chicago. I just took on this role, a year and a half ago, April 2022. The theater, as a lot of places, closed down during the pandemic. The previous owner sold it and hired on Mick Napier and Jennifer Eslin from the Annoyance Theater to kind of consult in getting the theater back up and running. So they hired the new management team, and myself and Adonis Holmes were brought on as our co-artistic directors. So, this past year's been a lot of learning and growing and making mistakes and, all that fun stuff. And I know Bill I knew Bill back. When did you join Comedy Sports? Bill and I were in Comedy Sports together. I think, Bill, did you join late 90s, early aughts?
Yeah, 98.
98.
Fall 98. Yeah.
Okay.
Many moons ago.
Back in the later half of the later portion of the 20th century. And that's how
before it all went to hell.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Before Y2K came and
people don't really know that. I mean, people were like panicking about Y2K, but really what happened is that Y2K came and out came a little baby Trump. And only 16 years later, you can see what happened. I mean, him in the 80s, that was a different person.
Clearly,
it's like the Paul is dead thing. I want to get something going there.
Okay, I'm getting some.
Oh my God,
conspiratorial vibe from you here, Mark.
Yeah, when do I bring in all my QAnon conspiracy theories?
Well, so relatedly, I mean, have you had any experience, academic or otherwise, with philosophy other than your time spent on the QAnon boards? I mean, that definitely counts.
My Truth Social messages. No, that's so funny because I was a theater major in college at Radford University in Virginia. But I took, and I kind of, much as you get older, I don't know if you regret, your regrets pile up as much as mine do. Even though I know that's not the healthiest thing, but I was just a couple credits away from a philosophy and religion minor just because I love, and I wish I'd just done it, but I was just kept signing up for the classes. It was a liberal arts college. So even as a theater major, it wasn't like that conservatory type of thing where you only did theater classes. You had to have credits all across, the board. And I just kept gravitating towards the philosophy and religion classes because the professor, Dr. Gregory, I just loved him, and he loved theater, and he would come see all the productions. And so, and I ended up directing a play that he wrote in my final year there, which was a very long and very, as you can imagine, philosophical diving into the id of the of my professor, Dr. Gregory. That was, I didn't have the experience or enough knowledge at that point to know how to work with the writer in editing down their piece because it was long and arduous. But anyway, that being said, that's my closest tie to philosophy and religion. Now, do I remember everything from that? No. But I definitely loved the topics. I think the religion probably more so than the actual philosophy, even though it's kind of all tied together. Religion fascinates me endlessly, which is why I'm addicted to cult documentaries.
Prepare for more long and arduous.
So without revealing, to explain the format to those who might be new to the show, I brought in a philosophy lesson. It's actually relevant to what you have said so far in the philosophy / religion overlap. And then Bill supposedly prepared, or perhaps will come up with some improv lesson as we are going here. And these will emerge naturally, and you will be asked at the end of the show to vote on which lesson was the more powerful, was the more earth-shaking, was the one that will be declared the winner of this competition today.
Ooh, taking us back to our comedy sports days, Bill.
I know. But just like comedy sports, it's all part of the show. It's all part of the show.
I don't know. It could bleed right into our personal lives. No promises.
Yeah.
Sometimes when a judge doesn't want to just tell us which lesson is better, we make them applaud, and then we take out the meter to see which applause was louder. Unfortunately, microphones don't like that very much. Doing single claps loudly into a microphone, it sort of all comes out as the same distorted mess. But
indeed.
Any thoughts to get us going, Bill, or questions for Katie, or
would you say comparative religion, or more like the origins of religion, or just all of it, or the human religion interface, or
probably origins and the human religion interface. Probably is the most fascinating of just historically. I mean, I haven't read any Joseph Campbell, but I certainly am familiar with the what is the Messiah
Hero's Journey.
That's what I was thinking of, because it does seem to, I think his philosophy is that, you see these kind of similar themes in religion, regardless of, what part of the world it comes from, because, the origins of these, religions start all over the world. But it's the connecting, it's where the philosophies of those religions intersect is where you find the truth, right?
Sure.
Because if just spread out, we're coming up with these same things in multiple places at the same time, or
there's something very human about that. Or spiritual,
right? There has to be some kernel of truth in those intersections.
Yes. Would you say you prefer the more self-help cults, or the more religious-y cults?
Which kind of cults?
Which
not a stacked way of putting that
New
question.
Age religion gone amok, old age religion with an iron fist, or the more self-help cults?
Anything that involve, I guess, technically it's not really considered a cult unless there's an element of coercive control.
Okay.
Right? And coercive control is is interesting, because if you really, all religions have some element of coercive control in there, right? That group think, that group mind, which of course, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Group think and group mind.
Mhm.
But it has its place in time, right?
Yeah.
Where it can be used for good, which I think is hopefully how we're doing it at Improv, but is also why Improv can be cult adjacent sometimes. But it's just that the older religions, while they used, you can see the elements of coercive control that were used, but it's just now they've been around for centuries and centuries that it's just not as, generally speaking, in some places it's more intense. There's fundamentalist versions of everything.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's the mindset of why we feel the need to believe certain things to make us feel okay about dying, or to make us give us a reason or a focus for our lives. I mean, and whatever, we can go down that rabbit hole of why people sign up for these things, because of course our knee-jerk reaction to people who are in cults is like, those idiots, gosh, they're stupid, joining a
Meanwhile,
cult, how dumb that is.
you've got a tinfoil hat on your head and
Right, but it's
copper wisdom. Yeah. But they're the dumb ones. Yeah.
It's a very exactly. It's a very slow indoctrination period, and you catch a person at the right moment in their lives where they're vulnerable or whatever. Any of us could get sucked into something like that.
That makes me want to ask then, when you talk about the intersection between religion, is that because there are some objective truth out there that anybody who looks anywhere in the world is going to stumble upon? Or is it that we have common human needs? So of course, if religion is something that we come up with for psychological, for social reasons, that it's going to, of course, happen similarly around the world because we're all human beings.
So what was the first part of the question?
Or is it that there are actually true things that that anybody around the world could potentially key on, no matter what sort of vocabulary and background cultural substance they start with?
I mean, is there any sort of objective truth when it comes to matters that are spiritual or otherworldly? It seems like that's so. I know religion likes to sell it as objective truth. But it's really just in my opinion, stories, dating back to Greek and Roman mythology and Norse mythology. It's all just versions of stories as to why we are here and why we exist and what happens when we're gone. I think, is there any truths? I think maybe, to me, the truth would be that we're all connected somehow. Most religions kind of attribute that to God creating, some sort of God or gods creating us. But clearly, I think there's some sort of connection that I'm personally okay not knowing where it comes from. But most people, I think, as generally speaking, need the answers to that.
So it sounds like you're pointing to something that is, if you're saying, I don't know if there's objective truth in this, but there's something that is subjective and universal. In other words, that we have a feeling of connectivity. However, and we can ask each other about that. I have my Buddhist friend and my Hindu friend, and we can all talk about whether we feel that some sense of connection and what that might mean. But we can't necessarily know unless you find someone from ancient Greece talking about, I'm not sure about the particulars of the story of when Zeus turned into the bull and had sex with people. But I do know that the reason that I'm telling that story is out of a sense of connectedness that I feel with the universe, that we don't generally have that sort of introspective talk.
Actually, that story was true, though, Mark.
Oh, okay. I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
That is the one actual thing.
It is all the religions find it. This
Right.
bulls
A lot of
having sex
husbands
with people.
bought that one.
Right.
If you say so, honey.
Made
Okay.
sense at the time.
Okay. Yeah. I guess it sounds like something Zeus would do. All right. Are you?
I mean,
you're
yeah.
going out again this weekend too? Okay. Okay. All right.
I had a nickel.
Every time.
Yeah, I guess the truth is we all want to know why we're here and what happens after we leave. But as to what that fill in the blank is, there's a million versions of that you can come up with.
Now, Mark, I always ask about what the ancients thought. Did the ancients have cults in the way that we have cults?
I mean, I'm trying to get at by asking Katie this. I don't know that we know how
They
the
were
ancients
all cults, weren't they?
Well,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, you can look at. In fact, I would think that ancient religions do not show how we are all one, how we are all connected, but were ways of distinguishing your society. My gods are better than your gods. That sort of the default was not, it was kind of a revolutionary thing to say, oh, there's actually only one God and all the rest of yours aren't just crappy gods. They don't actually exist. They're demons or maybe nothing.
Yeah, false gods. Yeah, I mean, that's, it's like capitalism, right? It's like, I'm sure everybody was talking and sharing stories and folklore about, yeah, this is the story of where our culture believes this all kind of started and how we came to be and what happens after we leave. And then somebody gets a hold of that and decides like, no, this is, it's the opiate of the masses, right? It's a way to control people. We are going to glom on to this set of beliefs and insist that everybody here believes the same thing, because that way we can control this particular society, right? And then that's when it evolves into like a power structure. It's just like your mom and pop invention or little store that sells this cool little gigaw, and then Amazon comes in, or some big corporate overlord comes in, buys it up, and now they have control of the market. You know what I mean? And I think it's kind of like religion became a commodity, something that was just, I think, innate for us to tell stories, around the campfire to each other, and wax poetic on why we're here and how we got here, then became, commodified and then turned into this device to control everybody. Because I mean, that's how Christianity was formed, right? It was all the pagan stuff. All of our Christian holidays are based on pagan holidays because they kind of co-opted all of those pagan rituals when they made everybody become Christian.
Yeah, they already had the day off. Let's just keep that day off, and we'll just say it's for a different reason.
Sure, I wouldn't say how Christianity was formed, because they were running around as a ragtag group of rebels and stuff before that.
Right, right. They were the outliers. Yeah,
they were the Rebel Alliance. That's why every Christian child needs to realize, or aspiring, that like join any religion you want, but the early Christians were the Rebel Alliance. Yeah, like in Star Wars. How cool is that?
Yeah, they were fighting the man, and then they became the man.
Well, slow down. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. Being in charge. It's easy to get corrupted.
That's right. That's so true.
Well, and the Empire is a weird sort of theocracy, that it's run by Siths. This is their religion, their version of that, but yet they don't advertise it. Like, we're just, I don't even know if you were allowed to, if it was common knowledge that they were Siths or whatever. That and they certainly weren't, if there were, I don't know the whole organizational structure, but it seems it was more secular than sacred.
Yes. How is your Star Wars folklore, Katie?
Yeah, I was gonna say this. I'm gonna defer to you guys.
Yes.
I loved the original Star Wars movies, and I've loved some of the newer ones, but I think it's overkill, the whole Star Wars thing. Like, we can
step away. We can step away. I think.
I mean, I think that's a perfectly legitimate thing to say about Christianity, for instance. I mean, You're probably right that I'm not sure anymore of the story that I was told of like, oh, people came up with these ideas for as pseudoscientific explanations. I don't know how lightning works. It must be a guy throwing stuff. I assumed, that sounded very plausible to me for a long time. And now I'm sort of open to other possible reasons why, but at least one picture one might have is, individuals might say, maybe it's, but once you, then as you say, it gets quickly twisted to be used for political purposes. So I don't know if the political is like the source of the religious, but it's definitely why the religious gets codified and injected on people, and that we all have to think the same thing. Certainly, yeah.
I mean, geez, look at the right wing in this country. They've completely co-opted Christianity into this thing, that power structure, and use it for political gain and to advance their political causes, and use it to justify horrific. I mean, that's nothing new, right?
Well, humans be justifying. I'll just say that.
That's right. And rationalizing.
What is at arm's length that I can use to justify my horrible behavior? Oh, religion. That'll work.
Yeah. I can rationalize anything.
Right. So it might not be actually religion that is like at the source of any of this atrocity, but it's the political expedience that we will use anything that is present to hand. If we could use deep-seated class divisions or ethnic divisions, whatever, that's all great. Let's definitely use that to keep people in line. And so, religion is a commonly used tool for that. But I guess it's a matter of debate whether it is, how much of it is written into the religion as opposed to it just being used for nefarious purposes.
Sometimes you get some militant atheists who will just like, but by the way, imagine, 10 billion people have died because of religion. If we just got rid of religion, all those people would be alive. It's like, come on, really?
Right. We'd find another way.
You're really underestimating our ability to kill people with little or no cause.
All right, lest I start an improv scene about a debate society about atheism, which I don't want to do. Bill, please start us on some other more practical.
Well, believe it or not, my little improv lesson about connectiveness, it does relate to connectedness. I either have to go second, or maybe I can tell Katie what it is and she can do it. But it is a responsive, reactive technique.
Ooh.
We may have done many, many moons ago, Mark, but I think we should revisit.
It's okay. My memory is short. My learning is slow. So yes, awesome. If you'd like to message Katie, your
do you feel comfortable
starter?
With this, Katie?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I will talk to the audience while you're doing that. So
is this a brainwash? Are you going to brainwash me?
Yes.
Live on air?
Into the cult.
I would think that repeated drone-like phrases are very common. I think they should be used more often. I think they should be on our television screens instead of the Pledge of Allegiance, which actually can be pretty drone-like, and certainly that "Oh say can you see." I mean, but I think that we're missing an opportunity to make it truly repetitive and brainwashing by having a national anthem that is more like America, America, and just have that repeat over again. Okay, Bill, are you done? So I can quit vamping here?
Yeah, okay, so there it is.
Bill's writing a whole treatise here into the chat. Oh, I think it's been transmitted. Katie is studying carefully.
Yes.
Trying to ignore my voice. But yet I cannot be ignored. My voice is too soothing to ignore.
Okay, I think I get it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Audience, do you feel excluded like I do when the co-hosts on your show are passing messages around privately? Do you feel like everyone in your life is doing that right now? All right, Katie, please,
that makes sense.
Proceed.
So yeah. All right, here we go. Is everybody ready? Can we do this, Mark? Are you ready?
Please.
Oh, now I got to think of something. Gee whiz, we can cut this all out. This will all be edited out.
Nope.
All right. Kids, I thought you'd be excited. that like I thought your mother and I were thinking that we could do. Well, I haven't told her yet. Let me slow down. That we could do a new religion for instead of Christmas this year. We're going to have, get this, we're going to have Golden Calf Day instead of Christmas this year.
Like a cow? What do you mean?
We're going to have Golden Calf Day this year as an exercise in exploring world religions.
Like my leg? What do you mean? Like leg, like socks? Like yellow socks go on my golden calf? What I don't understand what you're talking about here.
Kids, your father and I have decided to do something different for Christmas this year.
Okay, honey, this is supposed to be a positive thing. You're a little...
Kids, you will do what your father and I have decided we're going to do for Christmas this year. We're bringing in the golden calf.
I'm really excited about a golden calf. I've always wanted to have a golden calf in the house, and you always said we couldn't have any pets.
Okay, honey, this everybody, this was supposed to be a positive, happy thing to explore world religions, and
I'm perfectly happy to explore. I don't really understand. Can you just explain further?
We're going to be slaughtering this calf.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna kill the pet. That's terrible.
Well, hold on, honey.
I think killing a pet would be fine. I mean, no, that's a stupid idea. Why don't you just shut up now, and I will be our spokesperson. All three of us children, me, you, whose name is David, and the young one who cannot, Cindy Lou, who's not yet 2. I will speak for all of you now.
Listen, your father and I want to broaden your minds. And there's no better way to open up your mind than exploring other traditions. So we're doing
some readings about some ancient Babylonian societies and some of the things that their traditions were. And even though they don't exist anymore, I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do. I mean, killing a calf, maybe we could, a chocolate calf.
Kids need to learn the circle of life, honey. The kids need to learn that they are born and then they die. Okay. And what better way to exemplify that than slaughtering a calf right there beneath the Christmas tree? We will keep the Christmas tree.
Can we do it outside? I mean, can we at least do it outside?
Mommy, what's death? Hey, look, I said I'm taking this, David. Shut up. What do you mean? So it seems like a very different thing to have a chocolate calf versus an actual calf. Which one of those am I being asked to sign up for?
The actual living calf, sweetheart. Listen, we are all born to die. And I think the sooner that you embrace that concept, the happier you're going to be.
I was hoping this would be more of a fun, let's learn. Let's learn about other things.
It'll be fun. We'll dress up in some beautiful robes. We'll lay down a drop cloth. We'll sharpen some knives together as a family.
Honey,
I'm gonna go get a knife right now.
No, let's not get knives. I'm not sure where we even get a calf. To be perfectly frank, I wouldn't even know where.
I mean, I can look it up on the internet for you. I think it should be pretty easy to get a calf.
Facebook Marketplace. They've got everything.
Yeah, you just search, how can I get a calf? And it just comes right up. Yeah, look, there's a calf. There's a calf 0.4 miles from here. I think we could, and it's only $59.
No, let's slow down. $59?
Come on, that is a Cyber Monday deal if I have ever heard one. Get the truck.
Look, we still have a month to go before Christmas, okay? And Mark, did you have some questions about world religions that you would like answered about Christmas, about other cultures? That
you can ask Mommy and Daddy anything.
I heard that some religions let you do it with like multiple people at a time. Like you could be married you could have a throuple. I mean, is that something you're gonna?
Well,
You're going to do this year?
The FLDS, the Fundamentalist Latter-day Saints, do plural marriage, but that favors the man more than it necessarily favors the woman.
Okay.
So
I don't think he's going to complain about it. Maybe that's one we'll do maybe next year.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. I just was wondering if I was going to have more mommies in the house, or more daddies, or both. I mean, you could find a non-binary individual who's probably into this. You know, you don't have to choose. I'm open
if you are, sweetheart.
I think we can learn about religions without having to practice other religions. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Is that we can learn.
I'm just saying you learn by doing.
Arm's distance, without ruining the carpet. I mean, would you really kill a calf if there was a baby cow in here looking you in the face, chewing on it? Could you kill it?
Well, I do eat veal.
I mean, yeah. Is that?
But yeah, I was thinking more the kids would do the honors.
Oh, come on. Let's not do this. I thought it'd be fun. Maybe we should pick something. Let's pick something else. Let's pick something, like Shinto or Buddhism. Let's pick a different, this ancient Sumerian.
Can we do one of those where like everything is alive and everything has God in it? I think that would be cool.
Is that animists? Is that animists? Is that
I mean, something like that. Pantheism, I think.
Let's start with a layup, and then we'll maybe move on to some of the golden calf religions.
I guess I misunderstood our conversation last night, sweetheart. I thought we really wanted the kids to dive in head first.
Well, I kind of did, but I just didn't think it would be killing an animal in the living room.
Well,
I mean, everything has a God in it now, right? We're playing. That's what we're doing. So you've already, when you ate some celery, you just murdered some God, or maybe you may cut the God into two gods. I don't really understand the details.
That's a good point. That all those things are alive. We commit murder multiple times a day, every day. What's a calf on Christmas morning?
Could we maybe just bring it in the house and mock slaughter it and
Daddy, can I hold a knife and do the mock slaughtering? David, shut up. We're the adults are talking here. I am 12. I'm almost a man. I'm gonna have my my ceremony soon. I think I can handle this.
David,
yeah,
sweetheart.
What he asked.
David, a sweetheart. Of course you can. You're my favorite.
We're all presuming. Has anyone here killed anything?
I mean, apparently we're killing stuff all the time. I just blew some boogers out and I threw them away. So that's like booger murder. And there's a god, the booger god in the. Is this what you want us to investigate? Is this actually helping?
I have killed a fish and gutted a fish before. I've done that before, and it's not really pleasant, and it's not even that bloody. And I just think the moment we have a calf flinging arterial blood around the living room, I'm just not.
We'll do a Dexter prep, right? We'll prep the room like Dexter.
So there was a TV show called Dexter about a bad man who would.
I think he was actually portrayed.
He would murder people.
He was portrayed as a hero. I mean, at least up until the last season. Yeah, we watched that together already. I know it's not probably okay, but Davey, you're supposed to fucking tell him about that.
Listen,
Sorry.
I'm fine with it. I'm just waiting for your dark passengers to emerge so that I can teach you how to channel it in a positive way.
And can world religions help with that? Is that? It seems like most religions have some sort of apparatus for dealing with psychological troubles. I mean, is this the kind of thing? Is there something we're missing out on in our current, Lutheran bent?
I don't think not having a dark passenger is missing out. I think that's actually a good thing to not have the dark passenger.
Well, honey, I think we all have dark passengers. It's a matter of whether we invite them to the front seat or we keep them in the back seat.
I want to sit in the front seat. You can't sit in the front seat.
Oh.
You're too little to sit in the front seat. I can sit in the
All right,
front seat.
let's
I'm
stop right there.
12.
We'll stop there. I'm pulling the plug.
I could do this for an
I know
hour
you
and a
could,
half.
Mark. I know you could, Mark.
Oh Lord, did I do that right? Even Bill?
Perfectly. Are you kidding?
did-
That was absolutely perfect.
Well,
That was perfect. Absolutely perfect. In fact, my initiation was a little rambly, so that made it a bit more challenging. Because you're like, how do I get on board here? But yeah, that makes sense. Looking back over the
Right,
over
I was
the-
supposed to repeat your
hey,
well, now the cat's out of the bag. I want to see if
Okay.
Mark figured it out.
Well, I was gonna guess. Let me guess before you
Let
say
Mark
the whole thing,
guess.
Katie. Which is to say yes and then some. To sort of go to agree with the initial person's premise, but to sort of take it to a different emotional place. That would be. I mean, she was much more domineering or something about it than
Similar.
your
I think
suggestion.
you're real close, Mark. You're real close.
All right, Katie. What am I missing here?
As I understood it, it was I repeat the initiation that Bill makes, but it's I adjust or I lay on a how I'm saying it, like emotionally. So
Totally.
I interpret it as the way Bill initiated it was like just kind of a light, hey, wouldn't this be fun to explore other cultures? So we're gonna work this this old aspect of celebration into and I turned it into a dark, this is what we're gonna do. I kind of, I guess, laid on that cult-esque.
Yeah.
But we're like, now we do this. We are a family that does this now.
Yeah. I typically kind of avoid I hate to say avoid words like yes and agreement because they can be such heavy improv concepts, but they also lead us towards, well, does yes mean I have to like it? Does agreement mean I go and they start begging more questions, and there may be some religious stuff in there. So I try to keep the directions incredibly functional. Just do explicitly this, and we'll worry about spirituality around it later. But I thought you did it fantastically. That person was horrifying.
Thank you.
in a very entertaining way.
Well, I don't know if I've exclusively been in a position in these scenes, Bill, where we've identified that there are a finite small number of people in the room, and it's more than 3.
That is correct.
And you guys have already picked parts. So what? I gotta be the rest, or what? I just decided to take responsibility for identifying in a very ham-fisted way that there are 3 children here, one of whom will be silent and the other one will hopefully be silent, so I don't have to do that stupid high voice.
Yes. Welcome to improv, Mark.
Well, I liked the differentiation between there was the younger kid that was like, let's do this. David, right? David's like, yeah, I'm on board.
yeah.
And then you're like, okay, wait a second, just so I'm clear.
But I think you did actually, Mark, considering like improviser to improviser, recognize that it is challenging and difficult. And while it might be kind of fun and gimmicky, that we don't want that necessarily to. We have a fun scene going on, and we don't necessarily you go on this little, vocal, vocal jag all around the scene. You had a moment where you're like, let me be the spokesperson. Not that you necessarily have to say that, but I think it was you acknowledging that, like, yeah, this is fun and cool, and hey, if the scene's not going anywhere, I can always do this. Always we got 20 kids, but you know what? We'll just. We're kind of building something that's kind of fun, and I see how certain things can maybe fun, but may distract from this other thing that I kind of want to do. So that was I enjoyed hearing you that, Mark.
Well, that was intended to sweep away the other personalities, but then once I've done that, then of course, like, why would the little kid not chime in at inopportune times? And probably somebody could have been the baby at some point.
Yeah.
If we'd gone on long enough, the baby would have been revealed to be let's make our following world religions. Let's make our baby the Christ child this year.
Right, Rosemary's Baby.
Nobody. Satanism was coming up soon. I think if we're going to
Right.
continue investigating various religions, yes.
Although Satanism, if since you bring it up,
Uh-oh.
is not, I mean, not that I have studied intensively about Satanism, but I do follow the Church of Satan on Twitter. And have, because they always tend to like respond to people who like to say this is satanic or that's satanic or you're a Satanist and stuff like that. And I have perused their website, and Satanism isn't this like ritual sacrificial. It's more about doing whatever you want to do, just as long as you don't hurt other people. But the idea of it is a rejection of like prescribing to, what religion, what Christianity specifically, but any other religion of like, this is how you must live your life. It's kind of a bit more like hedonistic, I guess, in a certain sense. Do what makes you feel good, stuff that I think Christian society would frown upon, but they're not for like killing people or anything like that.
That's what they say. That's exactly what Satan would love to hear.
Yeah, you've done more research into this than I have, Katie. I thought it was what the things I've heard little bits recently was that sort of like the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster or something, of that it's like Satanist organizations exist to troll regular religions. It's not like, that they have this it's more of a play activity. And then, hey, if you're going to say it's okay to have a cross in this public space or the 10 Commandments, well, we're going to sue and to put our, horned.
Right. They're just disruptors. Yeah.
Our heavy metal album covers should be displayed proudly in the public spaces as well.
There's some pretty well trolled trollings out there that Satanists have done. I got a hats off.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of their.
If that is the function of the Church of Satan at this point, then God bless.
Yes. Yes. And I appreciate the irony. Yes.
So our scene was getting a little bit on the idea that I'd come in with, but I think I just need to lay out more of it, which is I've been reading Kierkegaard recently for my other podcast. I'm in fact talking about it later today. And the thing that we've been focusing on is on sort of the difference between dabbling and sort of living your life using more or less aesthetic, artistic judgments to decide what you're going to do next and which ideas you're going to investigate. And is this fun? Is this not fun? Everything gets boring pretty fast versus making choices. I'm going to make choices. And so it seemed like, I'm not sure how in the last scene, Katie's character initially was like, this is what we're doing. So that was sort of getting that, but it's not like we're going to be another religion this year. It's like, we're going to do a thing. So I was a little unclear with that character, but definitely the whole approach to, well, let's just try some things from different, do you have any suggestions? As opposed to at least being like, we want to understand our Muslim neighbors, and so we're gonna do a menorah. We're gonna do the particular symbols, as opposed to like, just try whatever. That's the kind of mamby-pamby approach to religion that Kierkegaard, for one, was very much against.
Was he like, you're either in or you're out? Like you either go all in or not at all? Or
I'm still kind of trying to figure out what his views are, but I wanted to ask you guys what you thought, or Katie, in your interest in philosophy and religion, whether Kierkegaard is known for the leap of faith, that it's necessarily that the arguments are so good that they compel you, but that just to be like a coherent person, I need to jump all into whatever it is. I don't have to decide necessarily toward Christianity, but whatever it is that I feel like will best actualize, make me more of a serious person than just a dabbler trying this thing and that thing, that, to sort of meet the existential challenge of life means, yes, to go all in on something. Does that resonate with anything you had read or thought about?
I was raised Catholic. So And I was all in on I mean, I just, like a lot of people, if it's how you're raised, if it's the family you're in, and you're like, okay, this is what we believe. This is this is how it works. And then of course, as you get older, you either like just continue to do that, or like I know a lot of ex-Catholics, and it's probably true of Judaism too, that like good friends of mine sent their kid to Catholic school. Like they're not practicing Catholics by any stretch, but it is like, well, this is a good kind of foundational thing. Also, Catholic schools, objectively, a lot of non-Catholics do send their kids to Catholic schools because they tend to have, good education. But I don't know. I feel like I don't see anything wrong with dabbling. I almost feel like dabbling is healthier than because there are really like Buddhism. Like I keep the Dhammapada next to my bed, which has little Buddhist sayings in it, and it's not like, oh, I'm a Buddhist now, or I'm gonna become a Buddhist. It's just some of the things that those sayings in there give me inspiration or hope or consolation if I'm feeling anxious or something like that. I think there are things you can pick up from various different places that will serve you, that are helpful tools that you can use in your life. And I know that there's definitely a school of thought that you got to all or nothing it, but I don't know. I don't.
Yeah. Cults are all or nothing.
Yeah.
To a ridiculous degree. And so I can think of some clear bad examples of all or nothings. I'm trying to think of some clear bad examples of dabbling.
Oh, bad examples of dabbling?
Well, you have to.
Well, that's just it. I think that's just it. It's like, yeah, I agree with this idea that like we probably, it probably is best for us to dabble. And the moment we say, well, this religion is all or nothing and I'm in, aren't you also saying all the other ones are wrong? And then aren't you like, well, now we're just playing that old game again, the human game of I'm right and you're wrong because I said so,
Yeah, because I remember growing up, like, you're as a Christian, and specifically as a Catholic version of Christianity, it's like, well, if you don't accept the Lord and Jesus Christ as your savior, then you are not offered the kingdom of heaven. You don't go to heaven when you die. So, of course, as a young person, my question is, having lots of Jewish friends and knowing lots of Jewish people, and my dad being like a really brilliant man, very devoutly Catholic, but he also was like taught Asian history and geography and anthropology and all that stuff. So, he's very knowledgeable about that stuff. So I'd be like, so Jewish people are going to go to hell? And he would be like, well, no, it's not. Like he couldn't really, like he didn't believe that. But at the same time, he couldn't really explain, but we're taught that you have to believe this in order to enter the kingdom of heaven. But then these people clearly don't believe that. So, but he wasn't anti-Semitic or anything.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think Kierkegaard's challenge is for you to pick a team and surrender your intellect to what that team tells you. It would be more like deciding that you are a Christian or whatever, and then having your own definite ideas of what that actually means. And it's probably going to be something somewhat individualistic because it has to actually ring true to you. Because the whole point is to make you a coherent individual that can act in ways that you will not regret as much as you otherwise would, because you actually are, so planning and thinking carefully. And it's so the leap is not just a leap. I mean, that's exactly what he's arguing against is I'll leap here, I'll leap there, I'll leap there, I'll try this, that's some of the dabbling could in fact be a pretty serious, like phases.
Right.
I went through, now you're in your improv phase. Okay.
Mhm.
As opposed to like, I'm going to dedicate my life to improv. And I want to expand this idea, not just out of like which religion you jump onto, but sort of your life choices, right? Some people call it like marriage a cult, but yet I have joined that cult. Bill, I know, has joined that cult. I don't know, Katie, are you
Oh man,
no,
still
no?
haven't joined that
You're
cult.
away from that cult. And is there a culty
Still
reason? Is there
dabbling.
Yeah, it's awesome.
is there an ideological reason why that there something wrong with the institution that is, or it's just
No, it's not like I've been a anti-marriage person. It's just kind of, I was engaged to be married once upon a time, probably when I first met Bill. And
but then you saw Bill and you were like, nope, no.
then I was like, I really, I can't do this. No, that relationship fell apart, and I don't know, it's always been this kind of internal struggle of what society tells you you're supposed to be doing versus what just whatever. We could dig into my psychotherapy of all of it and the, my issues with commitment or abandonment or whatever, all of that. But the path did not go in that direction. And which I am totally fine with, but I feel like the culture doesn't necessarily feel that way. It's like there's still very much, especially as a woman, there's still very much that sentiment of like, what's wrong with you that you've never been married? Why haven't you been married? Did you not like it? Like it's some sort of like big declaration. And I know there are people that do make those declarations, but that's not what it was for me. It was just kind of how it all played out.
Yeah. Now, I know, Mark, earlier we had a guest several weeks ago, and this notion, and maybe let me know if this is what you kind of go with when you talk about dabbling, this idea that if you dabble a lot, it allows you to never, the whole like believe in everything, believe in nothing kind of thing. Is that more what Kierkegaard was?
That it's ultimately nihilistic. Right. It is belief in nothing. It is nothing has an absolute value that, you're not positing anything to have an absolute value because you can just sort of change your mind. Yes, you can make choices. You can dive into something, but then the next day, those standards no longer apply.
But just like the Satanists, while there may not be many, no, I am a nihilist. That is what I do. But there are probably many people who just, through whatever reason, don't believe in anything. Because what if they're wrong? Oh, but what if I'm wrong? So I start making choices based on what's going to upset the fewest people in my perception. You know what I'm saying? And I've certainly met that person. And
so getting dragged along, just swept, by doing the least.
Yeah, without even realize they're being dragged along. I've certainly met that person in improv, and they're not easy to improvise with, because they will constantly change their point of view.
That's an interesting point you bring up, because it is like, certainly there are plenty of, when you start talking about artistic disciplines or any specific discipline, you do have to throw your whole self into it to do it well and to do it right and to develop that skill or craft or whatever it is. But I think when you're dealing with something as esoteric as religion, I feel like it's almost healthier to, I don't know, you can get into that blind faith kind of realm, which can be tricky.
Yeah. Do we need to do another scene, Mark? How are we on time?
I'm wondering if maybe Katie might start one. And I, at least, or you also, Bill, can try to do, now that your lesson is already on the table.
Yes.
Now
the idea is, Mark, is that I just don't want you to add any more thought, like add an independent clause. Just take the words Katie uses, and you can make it conversational. You can change "I's" to "you's" or "me" to just make sure it's conversational, but don't add any independent notions or ideas.
Make it conversational. Don't add notions. No, I'm not going to do that. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
I'm glad
That's not what's about to happen.
glad that is out of the way.
This is the Mark's irritating voice episode.
Well, you'll get people who will be like, "Let's get some ice cream." Yeah, let's get ice cream because it's a hot day and ice cream's so yummy, delicious. Like, well, you're kind of editorializing.
Because the Satanists tell me I should get ice cream.
And it's what's far more interesting is this guy. Yeah, let's get ice cream. Why are you sad about ice cream? It's like, that's interesting. I think that's compelling. And that's all right. So Mark, you ready?
So am I just initiating this scene? Just kind of, am I using kind of this conversation as our inspiration?
If we can explore the philosophical idea by what you set up, or even if you set up using something random, if we can, if there's not too many balls to juggle, it's at least something we could try to do to investigate the philosophy from the inside.
Okay.
It's the theory.
And just so you know, few guests get the honor of initiating a scene. They are usually terrified / incapable. I'm going to say it.
Well, you're just talking about the philosophy guests. The improv guests are probably fine with it.
Gregory, I finally found you. I have been searching for you for years.
Yeah, Gregory, I finally found you. I've been searching for you for years.
Yeah. Okay. You guys found me?
You're a difficult man to track down, but I'll tell you what, I've seen all your YouTube videos.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna finish my burger and head back to work. Kind of on lunch break right now.
I don't think you realize the impact you have on people when you build the tiny homes in your community.
Thank you.
When you build the tiny homes, it makes me want to change my life for the better.
You have created roofs and places for people to live who did not have a place to live before.
Well, I just kind of do it. It's kind of a fun thing to do, and the YouTube channel is a good supplemental income. Thank you, but like and subscribe.
Oh, I have liked and I have subscribed and I have donated.
Oh, well, thank you very, very much. That'll help.
I would like to give you power of attorney over all of my affairs, because that is how much I believe in your mission and what you are doing to help humanity.
Sure. You too, or do you know each other? Is this?
I don't need power of attorney. I have other ways of getting what I want. I really like your little homes. Yeah, we met on the boards. I had a tip of where you'd be here. I sometimes watch you when you're here. But I watch you. I watch you on the YouTube as well. Sometimes I like when I see you in person, I like to pull you up on the YouTube, and then I can be like looking at the YouTube, and you looking at you, and looking at the YouTube. It's like double vision. Sometimes I could get two devices. I could have you in 3 places at once.
Well, that's outstanding. That's great, and it's nice meeting both of you. Like I said, I still do have a day job, believe it or not.
I've taken the liberty of starting a website based on Gregory the Builder. And I'm signing up members now. We've got about 300 people who are now following you, Gregory, and hang on every word that you say. When we watch you build those tiny homes in your community, it's like our church every Sunday.
Well, just so you know, I build them in my community because my contractor's license is only it's only countywide. I have to. It would be illegal.
Those are the earthly rules. Okay. We don't follow the earthly rules. We follow the Gregory the Builder rules. I have a whole webpage on the Gregory the Builder website that outlines the Gregory the Builder.
My rules. You know my rules.
Gather your materials.
That's just what I say. That's just good. That's just sound carpentry advice.
Yeah, but it's the way you say it.
Exactly.
Hey, I tell you what. Let me buy y'all lunch. I'll be a little late back to the office, and we can chat, and then we can.
Rule
go on
number
our way.
3 is
Go-
only eat when Gregory eats.
Okay. And
We could come back to your office with you.
no, I think that would just be strange.
I mean, I've seen it from the outside plenty of times, but I never had a key card. They wouldn't let me in.
I'm outside of it right now in my car. I spend every single day outside your office just hoping to catch a glimpse of you through your office window.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this is a little weird. This is a little creepy. It's a little strange. I'm at the same time flattered and a little put off. I'm sorry.
Prophets resist. Many prophets resist initially, but you need to embrace it, Gregory.
I don't. This is strange. You don't you have lives? Don't you have your own families? Don't you have your own?
You're my life now, Gregory.
I only have like 5,000 subscribers. It's not even that big of it. There's other tiny house channels with tens
Gregory,
of
look
thousands.
out your office window now. I am dousing myself in gasoline, and I will set
No.
fire.
No. I
just make a point.
Hey, what's that right there?
Self-immolation's always a great out to a
Yes,
scene.
typically. No. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure exactly where my character was going to get more sinister, but like Katie was, I felt like just being a voyeur of Katie's
was sinister enough.
Was probably enough.
I told you I've been watching way too many cult documentaries. It's going to inform everything.
I mean, we were definitely playing committed characters.
Yeah. And again, Mark, I thought your little the way you said that made you very weird. It made you very weird. And my first thought was you would make yourself Gregory. But again, that's optional. Welcome to improv. You don't have to.
How would I have made myself Gregory and yet repeated or just like questioning? You've been
certainly that's one way, Oh, you found me. Maybe you don't get every single word in there, but most of the words in there. Or
you found me.
You found me. Or
oh shit.
It appears you have found me. But again, each of those different readings, Katie mentioned Meisner in a thing. It's this whole idea of like how you say that line is going to do more for us for knowing who you are than any words or any explanation as to, oh yes, it can be hard to find me because my phone number is unlisted. There's no, doesn't tell us about you, doesn't tell us about what to expect from you and how to react to you, how to treat you, as much as, yeah, we found you, Gregory. It's like,
well, I liked the character choice because it's like there are all sorts of different types of people that are attracted to cults, and you've got the person that's like super like, yeah, airy, oh my god, I'm always searching for meaning, and then you've got the person that has the more militant kind of like wants to latch on to a power structure and be the enforcer. And I feel like that was your guy. Like, I'm ready to kick ass and take names for this cause if I have to, like.
Well, I'm glad you cut it off when you did, because we are running out of our usual time. But this is the first episode where I can feel like both scenes, I really wanted them to go much longer. I felt like there was much more to explore. It's going to take a little while to, am I going to encourage you as Gregory to, embrace your status as a cult leader more serious? Like, is there any chance that we'd get any headway with that? But it would definitely take, I think, bringing you down to the compound, perhaps not feeding you for a while. We'd have to have some fast forwards in the scene to really.
Yeah. At what point does this guy, an unwilling prophet, right? Like that somebody is laying all of this meaning off of just like these nice little, small home builder guy that's doing a nice thing for his community. At what point, how many voices is it going to take for you to be like, oh, maybe they're right?
It's like,
I am this.
Money, power, sex, any of those, any combination of those. It's just like, yeah. We're your cheerleaders, and I have cheerleaders. Wow. Hello. Yeah. Or money or power, those things. Right. I mean, all those cults devolve into that, don't they, at some point?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've been reading that Wheel of Time series, going back to that I read as a much younger person, some of it, and the whole premise of that is when you inform somebody that they are the chosen one, they're not just going to be like, okay, that they're going to run out the back door. So it took a good 400 pages or something for him to admit that he was in fact the chosen one. So I think, Bill, you're moving on the right trajectory.
Okay.
But it would have taken another. I think maybe as bonus content we can post the 500-hour continuous improv where you are convinced that you are in
this
fact
whole
the cult leader.
radio drama of yes. Well, I think the one reason why I picked this and was kind of reinforced by it, pardon me, and reinforced in that selection was when you mentioned that togetherness and world religion and whatnot, and galactic truths or truths of humanity. This idea that often in improv scenes that we don't necessarily, we're worried about ourselves or worried too much about what am I going to do? What am I going to say? It's like, oh, let's just take that away and just be together. And I'm going to say the same thing you said, make it conversational, but that's not difficult to change a word or two. But when I do this exercise with students, it's always like, yeah, all the scenes, they were all very clear and they all started together. It's like, yeah, imagine that. So there is a little letting go of the self, letting go of the ego, letting go of what you think might be fun or interesting or whatnot, and just sorry, that's the restriction. Leap of faith.
Mhm.
See how I tied everything together there, Mark?
Oh.
As though it was the plan all along.
As if it's the third.
Yes, we have learned as part of the letting go process, being very purposeful in, I will explore this philosophy idea from the inside out in this scene. That often drops off pretty quickly, and I think while one could interpret the scene
today.
in its light,
Yeah.
it was not anything that I was exploring further through that very, very shallow or mysterious character, and didn't have more interaction would have been required to pull that out of you in a Socratic sort of way, to make you explore your various life choices. Maybe if we at least had gotten you fired from your day job, there's no day job to go back to, Gregory. We've already burned down that building.
Exactly.
So I guess we're to roll to the stop of this. Katie was to revisiting philosophy in this way, whether the specific thing I had in mind or just the general conversation we had or the improv experience and how your technique has been enhanced. Which of these lessons do you think for you and for the world is more important today?
Of the lessons that we learned in this podcast today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We need a resolution.
This is tradition. This has been around for the entire run of this podcast. Quickly realized perhaps this is not as just do it. Okay, just do it. All right. Accept the blood and body.
There is no meaning except yes and.
Okay, does that mean improv one? Or is that improv. Philosophy? Okay. All right. I feel like improv has won too many times in a row. I wasn't gonna tip the scale, but
Call to Jason.
I'm willing to go with that. Thanks so much for joining us, Katie.
Oh, thanks for having me.
This was great. Super fun.
I didn't know what I was walking into, and it turned out to be a delightful conversation and a fun time.
Very cool. Thanks for being available.
Oh, thank you.
So long, listeners.
See you, everybody.
Peace.
Hey, we've now entered the supporter portion. Do you have time to just chat a little more off the record, or do you want to be done with this and go about your day? And Bill and I will do this by ourselves.
Text messages.
All right, Bill,
fair enough.
Bill and I will do this.
Everybody decides to do it during the period of time where I'm engaged.
I got a work call. I ignored it. But it did go off. All right. Well, then we'll say goodbye to you, and Bill and I will keep talking a little bit.
I should sell my soul bankrupt. nuts.